Hello everyone, welcome to the Radiance Hub YouTube channel. As we were talking of the Renaissance, we have already recorded 3 videos for this particular topic. Something more is left that we'll discuss today. We are going to deal with the effect on opinion of general principles and methods of the new science. As we have already discussed about theory of Copernicus, and before that we talked of Ptolemy. The difference between both of them were, in Ptolemy we knew the earth was stationary, but through Copernicus we got to know that the sun is stationary. Planets move around it. So today we'll talk of the effect of that understanding on the opinion of general principles and methods of the new science. And it was developed by the successors of Copernicus in late 16th and early 17th centuries. Successors means inheritors, you can say, the people, the scientists, the physicists who came afterwards. Among them, we have one physicist, that is Johannes Kepler, and the other one is Galileo. Galileo. I think you are very much aware about him. The third name that we are having through M.H. Abrams is of William Harvey. William Harvey was a physician as well as physiologist. Physician, I think you understand. Physician means, in general term, we call them doctor. They, they, have the degree like MS, or not MS actually, that is MD, you can say. They are doctor of medicine. So, physician he was, William Harvey. At the same time, he was a physiologist. Physiologist deals with physiology. Physiology is a branch, you can say, or a subdivision of biology. I hope you are very much aware about the words ending with logy. They should not be pronounced like logy. There is no psychology, that's called psychology. In a similar manner, there is no biology, that's called biology. So, successors of Copernicus are Johannes Kepler, Galileo Galilei, and William Harvey. They contributed after Copernicus in that particular domain. But what happened, even if such things were there, but humans don't like changes. So that is aptly visible in the literature of contemporary time. In Elizabethan era, cosmos of many writers, including Shakespeare even, they remained Ptolemaic. As we talked, initially we talked about Ptolemy. So Ptolemaic. And not only that, in their literature we have animate cosmos, and that animate cosmos was replete with occult powers, and that occult powers was very much inhabited by demons, spirits. So I think now you may you may recall the names like that of Christopher Marlowe, Dr. Faustus we have, the tragedy in which Dr. Faustus bartered his soul to the Lucifer, Mephistopheles. We have the ghost of Helen there in that particular drama. When we talk of Shakespeare, Shakespeare's work, many works are replete with such elements. When we talk of Hamlet, we see how Prince Hamlet witnessed the presence of ghost King Hamlet. When you talk of Shakespeare's Macbeth, the stellar element in it refers to the play's heavy reliance on supernatural forces, specifically the three witches, ghosts, and ominous apparitions that dominate the plot, setting the tone for the tragedy. Even when we talk of Julius Caesar, we can be reminded of that conversation of Calpurnia and Caesar, wife and husband, when she witnessed a dream. She dreams her husband's statue spouts blood like a fountain, with jubilant Romans bathing their hands in it. A clear premonition of his assassination, which she interprets as a dire warning to keep him from the Senate. The conversation goes like this, I'm quoting. Calpurnia says, when beggars die, there are no comets seen. The heavens themselves blaze forth the death of princes. And in reply of which, Caesar asserts, cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I yet have heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, necessary end, will come when it will come. So, we were talking that how even after Copernicus, we had people like Kepler, Galileo, William Harvey. Even then, the literature was replete with such things in which we see use of occult powers, use of demon spirits, witchcraft, magic, and in that literature what we find, we understand, we got to know that how they believe that men's lives were controlled, influenced by stellar elements. So stellar influences were there, very much visible in literature. But yes, when the thinking goes on, when the thinking went on, and with the passage of time, those understanding given by Copernicus and others dominated, and further we have another universe, and this was in the course of 17th century, and there we have an understanding, we have a time that was the product of this scientific procedure of posing hypothesis. And that hypothesis, which kind of hypothesis? Since it was scientific, so it meant to be tested precisely by precisely measured observations. So that can be, tested, and it means that can be proved. And it was the physical one. When we talk of physical one, see, physical one means something related with physics. Something related with physics. Physics means what? Physics follows the laws of nature. When you talk of supernatural elements, they don't follow the laws of nature, so they are not physical. That's why they are supernatural. But here we are having a time when people started thinking of physical world, physical universe, and this idea was propounded by the contemporary philosopher, French philosopher, born in 1596 and died in 1650, none other than Rene Descartes. I think, therefore I am. I hope you remember that quotation by him. Here he says, I'm quoting him as it is very much visible in the PPT, give me extension and motion and I will construct the universe. It means he thinks that when matter is already there, if that is extended and the motion is given, the universe can be created. Means for this understanding, there was no any need of what? No any interference by angels, demons, human prayer even, or occult magical powers. He used to believe that, as we understand, do you remember that poem, Each and All? Uh, in Hindi, we say, uh, Pinde te Brahmande. What is there in a particular a matter, if that is extended, it becomes the universe. So that was the understanding and was propounded by French philosopher Rene Descartes. So he used to think that the universe of Descartes and the new science consisted of extended particles of matter which moved in space according to fixed mathematical laws. So when mathematical laws come into the context, there is no any chance of angels, demons, human prayer, or occult magical powers. But yes, those things were not there. But what could happen? What is the possibility of the interference? What are the things that could interfere? It was, subject to the manipulations of experimental scientists. And for that understanding, we have to go with the concept, the phrase given by English thinker Francis Bacon, the person who is known for empiricism. Empiricism is the kind of gaining knowledge through experience, and it was propounded by Francis Bacon. So Francis Bacon says that humans had learned to obey nature in order to be her master. Aren't you reminded of Caliban in The Tempest when he says to Prospero, now I have learnt your language, I'll curse you in it. So humans, by nature, they learn to obey nature, but not in order to be obedient. They learned to be her master. Descartes and other philosophers' hypothesis converted into a philosophical worldview, and that particular contribution of Descartes and others that ultimately, gained the popularity and became the worldview of that time. And the methodological principle, what was that? Controlled observation is the criterion. Criterion, you understand? That's singular of criteria. So controlled observation is the criterion of truth in many areas of knowledge. That was the basic understanding. And this ultimately constituted the climate of 18th century opinion known as the Enlightenment. So I hope when we'll go through the Enlightenment, you may remember these all facts of Renaissance, how Renaissance became the founder stone or foundational stone for the building of the Enlightenment. One more point that is left here in the Renaissance, there we have one person, John Kelly, She started a debate. She actually wrote an essay, and the essay was, it is clearly visible in the letters highlighted with red color. The essay by John Kelly. Did women have a renaissance? So the title has question mark. It's a kind of question. Which kind of question it is? You can say it's a rhetorical question. Rhetorical questions are not there to be answered. Even in that particular question, we have the answer. And the answer is no. So she published an essay called Did Women Have a Renaissance? It was published in 1977. So we are talking about Renaissance of women in 20th century. Actually, Renaissance, the timing of Renaissance is mainly from 14th to 16th. Even in 18th, we have Enlightenment. But here in 20th century, we have a person, John Kelly. She wrote an essay. Did women have a Renaissance? And obviously, her answer is no, because she talks of the evidences from Central Italy, and on the basis of that she says that women did not have Renaissance. But as the trend we have in literature, somebody asserts something, someone else comes and talks against the grain. So we understand that there is one one work, I think that is not clearly visible here, Women of the Renaissance, published in 1991. It was by Margaret L. King. You can see that in M.H. Abraham books as well. The concept on which, the foundation on which it is asserted that women did have, it was on the basis of the roles of women in the family, in the church, and in positions of political and cultural power. So this was all for today. I hope I tried my best to convey it to you in a new flavor and fervor. I'll try to manage it if you like so. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience.